All right, so we got another resume review from Christy, and we're live on Twitch today, so we'll see how that goes. I got Pancake in the chat, so you'll get a shout out on the YouTube video once this goes out. Christy sent me a resume cover letter, and I'm gonna go over my first impressions first. I just want to look at this and then dive deeper into this. So first thing I noticed is I really like the layout. It's really clean to see. There's some white space. The header is really clean. You left a lot of white space there. Picture, name, contact info. There's an executive summary, which is really nice because I could just read this right now. That's what I would actually read first. Management-oriented, self-motivated, passionate, and caring brand ambassador with extensive experience in working under pressure, player management, and attention to detail. An art student with a love for games and a drive to bring people together one mini game at a time. So right now, I think this is really well crafted. It makes me really interested. I know exactly who you are, what you're trying to do. Or I know exactly what you're trying to do. You're a brand ambassador. You say that up here. And then if I'm thinking about the job posting that I put out, and if I think about hey, I was looking for a high pressure environment, someone that has player management experience, someone that's very organized and can meet deadlines, or something that involves attention to detail, I'm ready oh, this person meets that. You told me that, and I asked for that, so that's really cool. An art student with a love for games and a drive to bring people together one mini game at a time. That's just a really cute, nice, fun, geeky, very esports gaming culture sentence. So that just gives me more personality about you, and you're not just a robot. So that's really cool. First thing that actually caught my eye, or one of the first things that caught my eye, is this weird formatting thing. I think these are different font sizes, and then this is not aligned correctly. I could see reasons for doing that, because I think this is the main point and these are all smaller points underneath it, but something is weird about that. So I would kind of fix that formatting, because it just bothers me a little bit. To me, it might be a lack of attention to detail, but I think this is also aligned intentionally to be underneath it. So I'd really think about this formatting, how it looks. What stands out to me are these general skills and soft skills first, because they look really, really nice in these boxes. They almost remind me of the LinkedIn and endorsement stuff. But I'm also curious if this is the right decision, because my eye gets drawn to these general skills and soft skills before any other year stuff. This is also bigger font than this stuff. So this makes me feel like this is more important information, which it's not. Your work experience is probably more important. What else? So I see work experience, volunteer experience, education. And I like that it's one page. So right now I'm actually very interested and willing to read through this. I like how this is all organized. Yeah, this to me, this just says you have a good attention to detail, that you are aware of how to make things look good. I like the colors, they're very appealing. It's not overbearing. And again, I think there is decent information, prioritization, but I think it could be done better, because I think your work experience, this stuff, it's a smaller font, and it's actually more important. This is the most important stuff here, which what I would say is make this bigger, and then make at least this stuff smaller and your education smaller. If you can figure out how to puzzle that together. All right, let's dive a little deeper. Oh shoot, I should have grabbed water. Sorry about that. I just had my coffee, so that just dehydrates a little bit and makes my throat a little funny. Oh well. Game development department, event management, team manager, president. Cool. I'm interested about that. Looks like we ran multiple live stream tournaments with 70 participants each. So that's cool. Right here, you're already telling me what you've done and how big of an impact that was, right? 70 people is nothing to bat an eye at. That's a lot of people. Floor manage players and teams accordingly in a timely manner. Communicate with live production team to ensure tournament falls in line with the stream. I think this one could be, I think I get what's going on. It's a little confusing. Maybe this could be worded better. like that falls in line. Is I think that's the issue. Like maybe that it's like I get what you're trying to say. You're trying to make sure that everything is in line. Everyone knows what the next step is. That everyone's on time. Those kind of things. Maybe it like fits matches schedule or they're yeah. That one's a little different. A little funky. I would say that needs a little bit of wordsmithing. Establish brackets with players signed up to ensure a fair, balanced tournament. Cool. Recruit players for a variety of games the school wants to have teams for, including the stream team. That's interesting. Find and schedule weekly streams of fish coaching, staff, and player times. Communicate with neighboring schools to host team bonding activities. Doesn't communicate between partner program sponsors and other clubs. In club relationships with these. I want this one to feel a little more important. To communicate between partner program sponsors and other clubs. I want to know the impact of that on what you did. Right? If it was like coordinate meetings to discuss sponsorship activations and budgeting between partner program sponsors and other clubs. Those kind of things. And I know that can be pretty broad because you included 3 different parties, the partner program sponsors and other clubs. But as a brand ambassador, if that's what you're looking for, I think that's a really, really loaded bullet point that needs to be fleshed out a little bit more to really show like the impact you created. I'd also think like depending on what is more important and what specific job you're applying for, I would switch these orders around because I think as a brand ambassador, maybe this president part is the most important thing. So that should go first. And this event management might go last, or even team manager might go last. But then you also want to make sure like this president stuff is has more bullet points because then it's like it's not the top, but it looks like you did less as a president and more as an event manager, right? So think about information priority. I would also do like what I've done is I had a Google Doc where it just talked about all my experiences, and then that has like each experience has like 10 or 12 different bullet points. And I kind of pull from that. And depending on what I need to cater my specific resume towards a specific job, I decide which bullet points I'm going to use. And then I copy and paste it into like my resume that I put together. And therefore, I have like a bank of all the things that I did so I don't forget. And then I can just like finesse it and massage it to fit like the specific job I'm applying for. So maybe you need a bank of more bullet points of the stuff that you did as a president. That can maybe like change this into 3 different bullet points or combine it into one depending on like how much space and how much information you want to convey to the job posting or the hiring manager for the job posting. Otherwise, I like these all. This is cool. I think I would like to see maybe some more accomplishments and effects from each bullet point. Like what happened because you communicate between partner programs. That meant that like a renewal of a contract with sponsors for 3 semesters. Those kind of things. TESPA chapter leader, TESPA Collegiate Gaming. Wow, cool. TESPA's a big name. So making sure that that's seen is important. See, I want to see TESPA before I want to see the word general skills, kind of, and this is bolder and bigger, this is smaller. TESPA Collegiate Gaming, July. So I'm curious. I mean, you can't answer this right now, but oh no, I can figure this out. I was gonna say like, how long have you been in college for? Looks like you graduated in 20. I don't think you can hear babies screaming in the background. Hopefully not. But I can figure that out. 4 years, 5 years. Okay. Representative task responsibilities. I almost think that this task and responsibilities isn't needed, and maybe you put representative under there. These are small things. Communicate between TESPA and my school tournament event details. Okay. Organize and host tournaments within guidelines of TESPA and my campus. Attend meetings concerning new events and upcoming events. Okay, so there's one thing that you could cross out that grammar. Attend meetings concerning new events. Or attend meetings concerning... Oh, there's a typo there too. Missing an N. Concerning new and upcoming events. So this might be a simple thing, but I think you can, because if you're just attending meetings to make sure like things communicated from TESPA happen in your college, like that might be, my impression from this is that actually it's a doesn't require much stuff to do. It's important, but it doesn't require much. You're like just communicating, being a liaison between two parties, right? However, I think you can make that sound stronger and more important. Now, how would you do that? I think you can fluff up the stuff and add importance to it. Communicate between TESPA and my school tournament details to ensure competitive integrity, or to stay on, to keep planning on time, to ensure stream quality, competitive integrity, like I said, those kind of things. In 10 meetings, that could be like 10 meetings concerning new events. I wonder how that one you can like fluff up a bit too. In 10 meetings to stay up to date with new events and new and upcoming events coming down from TESPA, right? Or to stay up to date to see what kind of, for future planning for new teams that your college might be that your college might want to be a part of, to figure out, to prioritize which events you can budget for, those kind of things. I think that stuff is kind of important, that you can use to fluff up, to really show like what's the importance of this, because I think the importance of a job can be more exciting or impactful than the job you're doing, right? If I was just creating scribing for meeting notes, like that's a simple task that people can be like, oh, anyone can do that. But not everyone can do that. Like there are good meeting notes and bad meeting notes. But if I know that this is to communicate to a whole organization, like this is all the important detail, like that to me is something much more impactful and much more important than just taking meeting notes, right? Yeah, but all around, I really like your work experience and stuff. I think it's really nicely organized, so I can I don't care about event management, I don't care about team management, but president, let me read into this. Like, I think your resume does a really good job, and I can just skim and pick and choose what I want to look at, and then from there be like, oh, you know what, Christy, I want to dive deeper into each part of your resume, or your whole resume, because like you intrigue me now. Event production, event management, live coordinating events, event planning, stream production, and social media graphics. I don't know what's going on here. The alignment in these boxes are not consistent. That's kind of weird. Soft skills, communication. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I'd rather take out soft skills, because I think this stuff can be included in, it's already kind of included in here and kind of assumed from all this stuff. And I'd rather have this have more breathing room by getting rid of the soft skills, right? If you got rid of the soft skills, could you move TESPA chapter leader up here and made general skills smaller and then spread this out a little bit more? I think that's one way you could do it. You know what? I should zoom in. Sorry. Maybe I'll have to edit that afterwards. That's so much easier for me to read now, too. Volunteer experience. Special agent volunteer. Minecraft Mine Fair. Oh, interesting. Check in that every booth is well staffed and running well. Deliver supplies to each booth and event coordinator. Assign agents to work at different booths during shift changes. Yep. Same comments I had before. I think put your most impressive stuff first. I would say this one seems to be a more difficult task. So I'll put that first, then maybe this one, then the second bullet point. But this is good that you put in. I like it. And maybe, if you need more room, you cut out one of these things. You might be able to combine this bullet point and the first bullet point and the third bullet point together and save some room, and then just have 2 bullet points with, yeah. But it all depends on the job you're applying for. Oh, I have a sneeze coming. It's not coming out. Okay, cool. And then, yes, I just like in your education, it's important that we know that you have it, but like, it's not important. Put it at the bottom. No one cares about that anymore. Or, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I'm thinking about that because like in engineering, it mattered. People cared about education until a certain point. But then it was actually just clout. It was really dumb. Anyway, got a Christy has a cover letter. To MMA CERN, as an experienced esports enthusiast, the posting on the collegiate brand ambassador with blah 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 really interested me. Okay, so now I know some more context. I'm extremely passionate about esports and esports production as a co-host on a brand new Twitch talk show where we talk about esports news every Thursday evening. I also made and managed teams for Overwatch, CS:GO, League of Legends, and an upcoming Valorant team as personal pursuits. Cool. I like this. Yeah, I kind of like that it's personal pursuits, because that just shows that you're like a passionate individual, right? I bring a set of talents that I believe is valuable to Evo Geniuses. In the esports work-study role at blah blah blah, I practiced a lot of leadership and teamwork from working at Starbucks and Zippies. Just so you know, there's a weird grammatical thing here. From working at Starbucks, I would expect from something to something else. So it might be like from working at Starbucks and Zippies to being a president of my college org, like that. And way before I started any paid work, my first skills came from being a leader in a high school color guard team and band, which taught me how to guide people and work as a team. I'm extremely excited to contribute my strengths and proficiency in management towards your team efforts. As an extroverted and easy to talk to person, my ability to build strong professional relationships has always been a valuable asset in my career path. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Christy. Okay, so the things I like about this cover letter is it's not just repeating everything on your resume. The thing I don't like about this cover letter, or that I want more of in this cover letter, is it's not helping fill in the lines, because this is like nothing about your resume. At least I don't see the connection to your resume right now. I think you have some really impressive stuff in here, in your resume, in your work experience, in your volunteer experience, in your TESPA chapter leader experience. And I wanted to hear more about that in your cover letter, actually. But instead, your cover letter is talking about things that you didn't do in your resume, and that I might see as less impressive than the stuff in your resume. So instead, I think you want to, like, it's nice to sprinkle these personal passion projects in here. And I think you could do it very, very quickly, like hint at it, right? Because again, you have to remember the resume and cover letter is not to get you a job. The resume and cover letter is to get you the interview for the job. The interview is when you're trying to convince them that like you're a fit for the organization, the job, and you're capable, and you're trying to sell yourself in getting the job. But the resume and cover letter is to get you the interview, not the job. So I want to see the cover letter talk more about your resume experience. Especially because like these are the bullet points you decided to pick to represent yourself as a brand ambassador for this job posting. And maybe it's because I didn't put this job posting and I'm not familiar with it, but I don't see how this Twitch talk show and you managing teams makes you a brand ambassador for this job. Leadership and teamwork, working at Starbucks and Zippies, like, that's really cool, and I think that's really important work. I think you could have said this, and instead of talking about working at Starbucks and Zippies, you could have said talking about being a president of a game development department, or your representative for your college to TESPA. I think that would have been a lot more impactful. Um, because I also don't know how you practice leadership and teamwork at Starbucks interviews because your resume doesn't say that, which is kind of fine, but I think you have stronger examples to show here. I think this sentence, I started any paid work, is kind of weird because it's almost downplaying your experiences that you're talking about here, because you're like, oh, it's not paid work, so it's not legit. Oh, that's not true, and you don't need to even like bring that up. But I think it's a cool way to put in information that you couldn't fit into your resume that you think is really important, like being part of the high school color guard team and band. Yeah, I think that's what it does well. I just don't know if it's needed here because I really do think you have good experience in your resume already that you should be talking about. But yeah, I do like how this stuff is written. But I just think you picked the wrong examples because I think you have a lot that I wanted to know more about, like what this all is and like what that looked like and how that went. And you can tell me about how those things went and prove to me that you are a leader, you're good at teamwork, and you're someone that's enjoyable to talk to and that is detail oriented and professional. I think there's different options you can use to talk about that. So that's the weird thing about this cover letter for me. So I think you need to rewrite it, but I feel good about your ability to write a cover letter, I guess I should say, from this. Cool. Thank you, Christy, so much for that resume. Maybe I should put some closing statements. So my closing statements, like, really good on organization, really good on figuring out what information is important and what you want to convey. And then I would say just spend a little more time crafting really important bullet points. Make sure that every single bullet point is important to the job that you're applying for, and cut the things that don't need to be there to give yourself more white space and to increase the font, those kind of things. For your cover letter, really well written. Just make sure that this is the stuff that is where you get to fill in between the lines of your resume. You get to tease me a little bit more about the bullet points in the resume that made me interested. And then it's like, oh, like I really want to hear about like the event that she did, that she talked about in this, that was in her resume, in her cover letter. And now I'm like, I need to talk to her in an interview to figure out like, oh, tell me more about this event because we want to run events. That's what this should do. So thank you so much, Christy.